poor girl took the wrong exit on a snowy night, never knowing a millionaire would love her. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. It was a cold, snowy evening when Sarah, a young woman in her 20s, found herself lost in the middle of nowhere. She had just moved to the city, and the overwhelming hustle and bustle had been taking its toll. She had left her small apartment on the outskirts to meet a friend, but in the heavy snowstorm, her GPS had failed her. Her car was the only one on the dark, quiet road, surrounded by endless fields and towering trees. She had missed the exit to the highway, and, to make things worse, her phone had died. Sarah sighed and rubbed her eyes, frustrated. She couldn't see anything around her except for the swirling snowflakes and the eerie darkness of the empty road. She turned the car around, hoping to find the right way, but instead, she ended up on a narrow, icy road that led into a more secluded part of the town. It felt like she was driving deeper into the unknown. With each passing minute, the snow grew heavier, and her sense of direction grew worse. It was as if the world had swallowed her whole. As the car skidded on a patch of ice, she felt a jolt of panic rise in her chest. That was when she saw the headlights. Another car was coming towards her from the opposite direction, its beams cutting through the dark storm. Sarah's heart raced as she pulled her car to the side of the road, hoping the driver would notice her and stop. The car slowed and pulled up beside her. The window rolled down slowly, revealing a man in his 30s, dressed in a sleek black jacket and a sharp, serious expression. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice deep and calm. Sarah, still shaken, nodded. "I'm just a little lost. My GPS isn't working, and I can't seem to find my way out of here." The man looked at her for a moment, his eyes scanning the road, and then her car. "You're in luck," he said. "There's a shortcut up ahead, but it's not safe to drive alone in this weather. You might want to follow me to the main road." Sarah hesitated for a moment, but then decided it was the best option. She was clearly in no condition to continue wandering aimlessly through the snow. "Thank you," she said gratefully, her voice a little shaky. The man nodded, his expression unreadable, and motioned for her to follow him. She shifted into gear, following him down the winding road as the snowstorm intensified. The silence in the car was deafening as Sarah tried to calm her nerves. She didn't know why, but something about the man's presence made her feel both safe and uneasy at the same time. As they drove in silence, she couldn't help but notice the expensive car he was driving. It was a brand she didn't recognize, sleek and modern, and far beyond her means. Was he someone important? She quickly pushed the thought aside. It didn't matter. She was just grateful for the help. When they finally reached the main road, the snow had begun to lighten, and the world outside looked like a winter wonderland, peaceful yet unfamiliar. The man turned to her with a small smile. "You're good now," he said, his voice softening. "Just be careful next time." Sarah nodded and thanked him once more. As she was about to drive off, she caught a glimpse of his business card on the passenger seat, lying between the leather seats of his car. The name on the card read, "Liam Parker, CEO of Parker Enterprises." Sarah's eyes widened in surprise. Was this man really a CEO? She had no idea. He had seemed so normal, so down to earth. As she drove away, a strange feeling lingered in the air, a mixture of curiosity and admiration. Little did Sarah know, this chance encounter would change the course of her life forever. After that snowy night, Sarah could not stop thinking about the man who had helped her. His calm demeanor, the quiet kindness in his voice, and that fleeting moment of safety made her feel like she had been pulled out of a storm, both literally and emotionally. She drove home, her mind racing with questions. Who was Liam Parker? What was he doing out here in the middle of nowhere? She could not shake the feeling that their encounter had been more than just a random act of kindness. Over the next few days, Sarah tried to get back to her usual routine. She went to work at the small art gallery, where she was trying to make ends meet while saving for her dream of opening her own studio one day. But even in the comfort of her small apartment, Liam's image lingered. She had told herself it was nothing, just a brief encounter. But when she walked into the gallery one morning, her heart stopped. A man, dressed in a sharp suit, was standing by one of the paintings, examining it carefully. His presence was striking, and as she walked closer, she felt that strange sense of familiarity wash over her. It was Liam. He had come to the gallery. "Liam?" she said, her voice barely above a whisper. He turned, a flicker of recognition crossing his face before a slow smile spread across it. "Sarah," he said, as if they had known each other for years. "I didn't expect to see you here." Sarah was speechless. "What are you doing here?" she finally managed to ask. "I'm a big fan of art," he said casually, though his eyes twinkled with something more. "And I've heard a lot about this place. I wanted to see it for myself." Sarah nodded, still processing the fact that he was standing here in front of her. She had not expected to see him again, not like this. She was just a waitress at the gallery, not someone important, but somehow, Liam made her feel like she mattered. "I didn't know you were into art," she said, her curiosity growing. He shrugged, looking around the gallery. "I have many interests. I think art is the one thing that makes sense in this chaotic world." Sarah felt a flutter in her chest, but she quickly pushed it aside. "Well, I'm glad you like it. It's been a dream of mine to open my own studio someday," she admitted, surprising herself. He studied her for a moment, then nodded thoughtfully. "You should. I think you have a lot of potential." Sarah smiled, feeling a warm glow spread through her chest. "Thanks, but I don't know if I can afford it." Liam's expression softened. "Let me help," he said suddenly, his voice low. "I could help you with the funding. I have some connections, and I know a thing or two about the art world. I believe in your talent, Sarah." Sarah stared at him, stunned. Was he really offering to help her? I don't know what to say." He smiled again, a small, reassuring smile. "You don't have to say anything right now. Just think about it. But I believe in you, Sarah." His words lingered in the air as he turned to leave, his footsteps echoing in the gallery. She stood frozen for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. Was this really happening? Was Liam, the man she had met on that snowy night, offering to change her life? She could hardly believe it, but something about him made her feel like it was all possible. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would turn her world upside down. Days passed, and Sarah couldn't stop thinking about Liam's offer. It felt too good to be true, but the more she thought about it, the more she realized she couldn't let the opportunity slip away. She had dreamed of opening her own studio for years, but she never had the resources or connections to make it happen. Liam's offer seemed like a lifeline, but a part of her still hesitated. Was it really as simple as he made it sound? Could someone like him truly want to help her, a struggling waitress with nothing more than a passion for art? Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Liam than met the eye. He had offered her help so freely, but what was his real intention? It wasn't long before she found herself in his office, the sleek, modern building towering above her as she stepped inside. The receptionist led her into a spacious conference room, where Liam was waiting, standing by the window, looking out over the city. The room was filled with warmth and light, but Sarah still felt the cold weight of uncertainty pressing on her chest. Liam turned to her with a smile as she entered. "Sarah, it's good to see you again," he said, his voice warm but professional. "I'm glad you could make it." She nodded, her nerves getting the best of her. "Thanks for meeting me," she said, her voice a little shaky. "I've been thinking a lot about your offer." Liam gestured to the chair across from him. "Please sit down. Take your time. I know this is a big decision." As she sat, Sarah could feel her heart racing. She had no idea what to expect next. "I appreciate the help, Liam, really," she began, trying to find the right words. "But I have to admit, I'm nervous. I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of your kindness." Liam leaned forward, his expression serious but kind. "You're not taking advantage, Sarah. I believe in your talent. This is an investment, not just in your art, but in your potential. You have the drive, the passion, and the vision. That's what I'm offering to support." Sarah felt a surge of hope, but also a deep sense of fear. What if she failed? What if she wasn't good enough? "But why me?" she asked, her voice quiet. "Why are you helping me?" Liam paused for a moment, his gaze softening. "Because I see something in you that reminds me of myself. When I started my company, I had nothing but a dream. I want to help people who are willing to work for their dreams, who have the heart to make something beautiful. And I think you're one of those people." Sarah was taken aback by his sincerity. She had never expected him to open up like this. "Thank you," she whispered, feeling a rush of gratitude. I don't know what to say. Liam smiled, a genuine, reassuring smile. You don't need to say anything yet. Just know that I'm here for you. If you decide to take this opportunity, we'll work together to make it happen. But it's up to you, Sarah. As she sat there, a part of her still felt unsure, but she couldn't deny the truth in Liam's words. He believed in her. And for the first time in a long time, Sarah felt like she might actually have a shot at making her dreams a reality. The fear was still there, lingering in the back of her mind, but for the first time, hope began to replace it. She had to make a choice. Take the leap or let this moment pass her by. The road ahead was uncertain, but with Liam's support, maybe it didn't have to be as impossible as it once seemed. She took a deep breath and met his gaze. Okay, she said, her voice steady. I'll do it. I'll take the chance. Liam's smile grew wider, and for a moment, Sarah felt like she had made the right decision. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of a journey that would change her life forever. The next few weeks passed in a blur for Sarah. She was working harder than ever, juggling her shifts at the gallery with the new opportunity that Liam had given her. He wasn't just offering her financial support. He was guiding her, introducing her to influential people in the art world, and helping her build connections she had only dreamed of. It felt like everything she had worked for was finally falling into place. But as the excitement began to settle in, so did the pressure. Sarah couldn't help but feel the weight of the world on her shoulders. What if she let Liam down? What if her dream didn't turn out the way she hoped? Every new step she took brought new challenges, and with each challenge, doubt crept in. But there was one thing she knew for sure. She couldn't quit. The dream she had held on to for so long was finally within reach, and she wasn't going to let it slip away. One evening, after another long day of meetings and brainstorming sessions with Liam's team, Sarah found herself standing in front of a large canvas in her small apartment, paintbrush in hand. She hadn't had time to paint much lately, but tonight, she needed it. She needed to reconnect with the reason she started this journey in the first place. As the brush moved across the canvas, the familiar rhythm of creating something from nothing calmed her. The strokes were steady, the colors vivid. For the first time in weeks, she felt at peace. The phone on her desk buzzed, interrupting her thoughts. She glanced at the screen and saw a message from Liam. Are you free tomorrow for lunch? I want to discuss your upcoming exhibition. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. The exhibition had been in the works for months now, and it was finally happening. It was the biggest opportunity of her career, and it had all come so fast. She quickly typed back, Yes, I'd love to. What time? As she set the phone down, she felt a wave of excitement and fear wash over her. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. But as the day of the exhibition approached, she found herself battling with her nerves. The gallery was set, the invitations were sent, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't ready. What if the art wasn't good enough? What if the people she was trying so hard to impress didn't see the potential in her work? She had worked so hard for this moment, and the pressure was overwhelming. The day of the exhibition arrived, and Sarah stood in front of her paintings, surrounded by a crowd of well-dressed, influential people. Her hands were clammy, and her heart pounded in her chest. Liam was there, standing by her side, offering his support and encouragement, but even his presence couldn't calm her nerves. You've got this, Sarah, he said, his voice soft but firm. I know you do. This is your moment. She took a deep breath and nodded, forcing a smile. The doors to the gallery opened, and people began to stream in, admiring the artwork, discussing the pieces, and asking Sarah questions about her inspiration and process. Slowly but surely, the nerves started to fade as she spoke with people, sharing her passion for art. But it wasn't until later in the evening, when the crowd had thinned and the final guests had left, that Sarah finally allowed herself to relax. She and Liam stood in the empty gallery, the soft glow of the lights casting shadows on the walls. Liam turned to her, his eyes warm with pride. You did it, he said, his voice full of admiration. You were amazing. Sarah felt a rush of gratitude flood her heart. I couldn't have done it without you, she replied softly. Liam smiled, stepping closer. You're the one who did the work. I just helped clear the path. But you, Sarah, you made this happen. As they stood there, the weight of the moment settling between them, Sarah realized something. She had made it. She had come so far, and she had done it on her own terms, with Liam's help, of course, but it was her passion, her drive, that had carried her this far. And as she looked at him, she knew that this wasn't the end of her journey. It was just the beginning. As the months passed, Sarah's career began to flourish in ways she never could have imagined. The exhibition had been a huge success, garnering praise from critics and art enthusiasts alike. People were finally recognizing her talent, and the studio she had always dreamed of was becoming a reality. Liam continued to stand by her side, offering support, advice, and, most importantly, belief. He had become more than just a business partner. He had become a friend, a confidant, and someone who had helped her unlock doors she never thought possible. Yet, as Sarah's success grew, so did the distance between them. She began to feel that something was missing. Despite the achievements and the opportunities, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was an emotional void that no amount of success could fill. She was becoming someone she had always dreamed of being, but at the same time, she was starting to question whether it was enough. Liam had been an integral part of her journey, and their professional relationship had always been built on mutual respect and admiration. But as the months went on, Sarah began to notice small things. The way he looked at her when they were alone, the moments of silence that seemed to stretch longer than usual, the way his smile lingered just a little longer than it used to. She began to wonder if the bond they had was something more than just business. One evening, after another long day of meetings, Sarah found herself standing in front of the large window in her studio, gazing out at the city lights. The skyline was breathtaking, a mixture of towering buildings and endless possibilities. She had everything she had ever wanted: success, recognition, a growing business. But she still felt like something was missing. Just as she was about to turn away, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Liam. "I need to talk to you. Can we meet tomorrow?" Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She wasn't sure what to expect, but something told her that this conversation would change everything. The next day, they met at one of their usual spots, a small cafe with an intimate atmosphere. Liam was already there when she arrived, sitting at a corner table. His usual calm demeanor was replaced with a more serious expression. Sarah sat down, her curiosity growing. "What's going on, Liam?" she asked, her voice soft. He looked at her for a moment before speaking. "I've been thinking about us," he said slowly, his eyes not leaving hers. "About everything we've built together, and about the way I feel." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't expected this. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Liam took a deep breath before continuing. "I've spent a lot of time helping you build your dream, and in doing so, I realized something." He paused, his eyes searching hers. "I've fallen for you, Sarah." Sarah's heart pounded in her chest, and for a moment, everything around them seemed to fade away. She had suspected it for some time, but hearing him say it out loud made her emotions swirl. "I don't know what to say," she replied, her voice trembling. "I've always valued our friendship, Liam. I didn't want to risk it." Liam smiled softly, his hand reaching across the table to take hers. "I understand," he said, his voice gentle. "But I couldn't keep this to myself any longer. I care about you, more than I ever expected." Sarah stared at their hands, her mind racing. She had always admired Liam, but had she ever thought of him this way? Had she ever allowed herself to feel something deeper? The uncertainty hung in the air, thick with possibility. As she looked into his eyes, she realized that this was the moment that would shape the rest of her life. She could continue down the path she had been on, focusing solely on her career, or she could take a leap of faith and see where this new chapter with Liam could take them. "I care about you too, Liam," she said finally, her voice steady. "I just wasn't sure if I was ready for this." Liam's smile grew wider, and for the first time in a long time, Sarah felt a sense of peace. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, she was ready to embrace it. Together, they would navigate this new chapter, one that was filled with love, challenges, and the promise of a future they would build together. As Sarah and Liam navigated the new territory of their relationship, things began to shift in ways neither of them could have expected. The transition from being business partners to something more personal wasn't always easy. There were moments of doubt, moments of hesitation, but there were also moments of pure joy. They were learning to balance their professional lives with their budding relationship, and it wasn't always simple. Sarah's art was taking off. She had finally opened the small studio she had dreamed of for years, and the success of her exhibitions continued to build. With Liam's help, She was able to showcase her work at higher-profile events, and doors continued to open for her in the art world. But as Sarah's career flourished, she found herself pulling away from Liam, not out of any ill will, but out of fear. She was terrified that her growing success would create a distance between them, that she might outgrow him, or, worse, that he might feel overshadowed by her. It wasn't that she didn't trust him, but the dynamics of their relationship had changed. She didn't want to lose what they had built, but she wasn't sure how to move forward with both her career and her heart. One evening, after a particularly intense day of meetings and gallery events, Sarah found herself standing in front of the window in her studio, gazing at the city below. The lights twinkled in the distance, and the city felt alive with possibilities. But despite the world around her buzzing with excitement, Sarah felt a deep sense of loneliness creeping in. She had everything she had ever wanted professionally, but she still felt something missing. That's when Liam entered the room, quietly as he always did, standing in the doorway for a moment before walking toward her. She turned to face him, offering him a small smile, but he could see right through her. "Sarah, what's going on?" he asked gently, his voice laced with concern. She bit her lip, trying to avoid his gaze. "I don't know," she said softly. "Everything's going great. The studio, the shows, but I feel disconnected. Like I'm losing myself in it all." Liam stepped closer, his hand gently resting on her shoulder. "You're not losing yourself," he said firmly. "You're growing, and that's okay. But you don't have to do it alone. I'm here, Sarah. I've always been here." Her eyes met his, and for the first time in weeks, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. She had been so caught up in her own doubts and fears that she hadn't seen the support he had always offered. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Scared that this success will change everything. That I won't be the person you fell in love with." Liam smiled softly, his eyes warm and reassuring. "You're still the same person, Sarah. Success doesn't change who you are inside. It just gives you the chance to be who you were always meant to be. And I'm here to walk that path with you, no matter what." Sarah felt a tear slip down her cheek, and she quickly wiped it away, embarrassed. "I've been so focused on everything else that I didn't see how much you've been there for me," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "I've been pushing you away without meaning to." Liam pulled her into a gentle embrace, holding her close. "You don't have to push me away, Sarah. We're in this together." In that moment, everything felt clearer. The fear, the doubt, the pressure. It all melted away as she realized that with Liam by her side, she could face whatever came next. She was no longer alone in her journey. She wasn't just an artist or a businesswoman. She was a person, with dreams, fears, and the love of someone who truly understood her. As they stood there, in the warmth of each other's arms, Sarah knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. This was just the beginning of something much bigger than either of them could have imagined. Weeks passed, and everything seemed to be falling into place for Sarah and Liam. Sarah's studio was thriving, her art was in high demand, and her exhibitions were becoming more prestigious. But despite everything going right, Sarah couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something was wrong. The pressure was mounting, not just from her work, but from the growing tension between her and Liam. While they had grown closer, both professionally and personally, there was an unspoken distance between them that neither of them wanted to acknowledge. It was as if they were two people running parallel to each other, unable to meet in the middle. Sarah had tried to push her fears aside, telling herself that everything would be fine, that Liam's support was enough. But deep down, she knew that the foundation of their relationship needed more than just mutual respect and admiration. It needed vulnerability, honesty, and trust. And right now, those things felt fragile. It was late one night, after another busy day of meetings and work, that Sarah found herself sitting in her studio, staring at a blank canvas. The silence of the room was overwhelming, and despite the satisfaction of her recent successes, she felt empty. The weight of the unspoken thoughts between her and Liam pressed heavily on her heart. She had always believed that love, like art, was about expression, about putting your true self into something. But lately, she had been hiding parts of herself from him, parts that she was too afraid to reveal. As the minutes ticked by, the phone buzzed on her desk. It was a message from Liam. "I need to talk to you. Can we meet tonight?" Her heart skipped a beat. This was it. The conversation they had been avoiding. Sarah quickly typed a response, agreeing to meet him at the small cafe they frequented. When she arrived, Liam was already there, his usual calm demeanor replaced with something more serious. The air between them felt heavy, as if the weight of the unspoken words was too much to bear. Sarah sat down, unsure of what to say. "Liam," she began, her voice unsteady. "We need to talk." He nodded, his eyes searching hers. "I know," he said quietly. "I've been feeling it too. There's been something between us, something that we've been avoiding. And I think it's time we face it." Sarah took a deep breath, her heart racing. "I've been so focused on my career and everything happening with the studio that I haven't been paying attention to us. I'm scared, Liam. Scared that we're not really connected anymore. That I've been keeping a part of myself from you." Liam reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "I feel the same way," he admitted, his voice soft. "I've been afraid to let myself fully connect with you because I didn't want to lose what we had. But the truth is, I'm scared of losing you, Sarah." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The weight of their words hung in the air, and the silence felt like a relief. It wasn't the perfect conversation, but it was the first step towards something real, something deeper. "I don't want to lose you either," Sarah whispered, her eyes filling with emotion. "But I need us to be honest with each other. I need to stop pretending that everything is okay when it's not." Liam nodded, his thumb brushing over the back of her hand. "We're not perfect, but we can make it work, Sarah. We just have to be real with each other. No more pretending." The tension that had been building between them seemed to lift in that moment, replaced by something stronger, something rooted in trust and openness. They had a long way to go, but for the first time in a long time, Sarah felt like they were finally on the same page. As they sat there in the quiet cafe, their hands intertwined, they knew that this conversation was just the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where love wasn't just about success or achievements, but about vulnerability, growth, and the courage to face their fears together. In the weeks that followed, Sarah and Liam's relationship began to blossom in ways neither of them had expected. They were more than just business partners now, more than just two people trying to navigate the complexities of their careers and their personal lives. Their connection, once tentative and uncertain, had become stronger, built on trust and honesty. As Sarah's studio continued to grow, so did her understanding of what it truly meant to have someone by her side. It wasn't just about the shared moments of success, but about the support, the vulnerability, and the unspoken bond that had been forming between them. Liam had always been there for her, but now, she was starting to realize just how deeply she cared for him. They had spent so many months focused on their professional goals, on achieving their individual dreams, but now they were beginning to understand that their journey was one they could share together. It wasn't always easy. There were days when the pressure of balancing work and love felt overwhelming, when doubt crept in and made them question everything. But every challenge they faced together, learning and growing through it all. One evening, after a long day of meetings and phone calls, Sarah sat in her studio, staring at the canvas in front of her. The room was quiet, save for the soft hum of the city outside. It had been a good day, filled with accomplishments and progress, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was still missing. She was surrounded by success, but she was beginning to realize that true happiness came from something deeper than just professional achievements. As she sat there lost in thought, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a message from Liam. "I know we've been busy lately, but I've been thinking about something. Let's take a weekend getaway. Just the two of us. No work, no distractions. What do you think?" Sarah smiled as she read the message. It had been a while since they had done something purely for themselves, something that wasn't tied to their careers or the pressures of the world. She quickly typed back, "That sounds perfect. I'm in." The weekend arrived, and they found themselves in a cozy cabin by the lake, surrounded by nature's quiet beauty. It was a peaceful retreat from the hustle and bustle of their everyday lives. As they spent the weekend hiking, talking, and simply enjoying each other's company, Sarah felt a sense of calm wash over her. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't thinking about the next meeting, the next exhibition, or the next big project. She was present, fully immersed in the moment with Liam. One evening, as they sat by the fire, the crackling of the wood filling the silence, Liam turned to Sarah, his expression serious. "Sarah," he began, his voice low, "I've been thinking about something, and I want to share it with you." Sarah looked at him, Her curiosity piqued. "What's on your mind?" "I know we've come a long way," he said, taking her hand in his. "But I feel like there's something more I want with you. I don't just want to be your partner in business. I want to be your partner in life, in every way. I want to build a future with you." Sarah's heart raced as she listened to him. She had never expected this, not so soon. She had always admired Liam, had always known he was someone special, but this was more than she could have hoped for. "Liam," she said softly, her voice full of emotion, "I feel the same way. I've been so focused on my career, on building this life, but I've realized that it wouldn't be complete without you." Liam smiled, his eyes warm with affection. "Then let's build it together," he said, his voice steady. "A life, a future, whatever comes next. Together." In that moment, Sarah knew. This was the beginning of a new chapter for them, one filled with love, partnership, and the promise of a future they would build side by side. They had both come so far, but the best was yet to come. Months passed, and the bond between Sarah and Liam grew stronger with each passing day. The fears that once held Sarah back, the doubts about whether her success would overshadow their relationship, had slowly faded away. She was no longer just an artist building her career. She was a woman who had found not only her professional passion, but also the love and partnership she had always craved. Their lives had intertwined in a way that felt natural, fulfilling, and exciting. Together, they faced challenges, celebrated victories, and built something far greater than either could have imagined on their own. Liam had become more than just a supporter of Sarah's art. He was her equal, her partner in every sense of the word. They had found balance in their relationship, balancing their professional ambitions with their personal love, creating a life that was both fulfilling and rich in experiences. Sarah had not only succeeded in her career, but had also discovered that success was not just about what you accomplish on your own. It was about the people you share your journey with, the ones who stand beside you through every triumph and every challenge. As Sarah stood in the gallery that night, preparing for yet another exhibition, she realized how far she had come. The woman standing before the canvas now was different from the one who had started this journey. She had grown not just in her art, but in her heart. Liam entered the gallery, his usual calm presence filling the room. He looked at Sarah, his eyes full of pride and admiration. "You've come a long way," he said softly, his voice filled with warmth. "This is your moment, Sarah. You've earned it." Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with emotion. "We've earned it," she corrected him. "This is as much yours as it is mine." The opening night was a success, even beyond their expectations. Sarah's work was met with appreciation and praise, and more importantly, she had a sense of peace she had never felt before. With Liam by her side, everything felt possible. As the evening drew to a close, Liam led Sarah outside, where the city lights shimmered under the starry sky. He stopped in front of her, holding her hands gently. "I love you, Sarah," he said, his voice steady, but filled with emotion. "And I know we've been through so much together. But this is only the beginning of everything we'll build together." Sarah's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of overwhelming joy. "I love you too, Liam. More than I ever thought possible. I'm ready for the future, ready for what's next, for us." Liam smiled, pulling her close. "We've already built something incredible, and we'll keep building it, one day at a time." With that, they stood together, side by side, knowing that whatever the future held, they would face it together. Their journey was just beginning, and the love they had for each other was the foundation of everything that lay ahead. Sarah had not just found success in her art, but in life itself, and it was a success she would share with Liam, her partner, her love, and the person who had believed in her from the very beginning. Together, they would build a future filled with love, passion, and endless possibilities. Discover the power of love, success, and destiny in this captivating tale of two people whose lives change in unexpected ways. This is one of those millionaire stories that takes you on a journey of personal growth, trust, and the pursuit of dreams. Sarah, an aspiring artist, finds her life intertwined with Liam, a mysterious millionaire who believes in her talent. As they face challenges and doubts, they learn the true meaning of partnership and love. In this emotional journey, Sarah's career begins to thrive as she builds her dream studio, but the real test comes when she realizes that success is nothing without genuine connection. Liam, a successful businessman, becomes not only her partner in art, but also in life, as they navigate the complexities of balancing love with ambition. As the story unfolds, their relationship deepens, proving that true success lies not in wealth, but in the bonds we form with others. These millionaire stories show that sometimes the greatest rewards come from the most unexpected places, and love can transform even the most challenging of situations. This story is a testament to how a chance encounter can lead to a life-changing partnership, full of personal and professional victories. Experience the emotional twists and turns as they discover what it truly means to build a future together. From the uncertainty of starting over to the triumph of realizing their dreams. This journey is one that will leave you believing in the power of love and the unexpected millionaire stories that change everything.